guys, welcome back to my kitchen here at my table of three. My name is Carrie and I'm so glad to have you back. Today I'm just going to take you through a little day in the life, I guess you could call it. We had a friend of ours, somehow she gets extra produce and meat and things like that, gets passed along to her, and since she's only one person in her house, she passes along a lot of that to us. And today, or actually last night, she passed on a lot of blackberries, raspberries, and some corn on the cob. And then a couple of days ago she gave us some whole chicken. So today I am going to show you how I process those to keep those long term for our family. And I thought I'd show you. Today I'm going to can a chicken vegetable soup. It is a low fat soup. I've skimmed most of the fat off the broth that I made with the whole chicken. And I also have vegetables in there like carrots and a couple of sweet potatoes that were going bad, so I threw those in there. But I'm going to show you how I can that in my pressure canner. And I use this here, the Ball Complete Book of Home Preserving. Hopefully that's not backwards to you guys. It may be, but hopefully not. But I will link to this below in the description below. It's an Amazon affiliate link, so if you want to just take a look at it, or if you're thinking about, if you're new to canning, or if you're thinking about starting canning, this is a great book. It has everything in there from meats to soups, jellies. Anyway, there's about 400 delicious recipes in here that you can. Some of them you can adapt to low carb, sugar free. I've done some jellies out of here, and I've used pure or some of the Trim Healthy Mama Super Sweet to adapt it. But it also tells you how long to process it and depending on what jars it is. So it's very helpful if you're just starting out. I love this book. It's not very expensive, about $15 or $16. But they usually go fast. Last year when COVID started, this sold out. And thankfully, I had ordered mine prior to that. But it was hard to get, I heard. So if you think you'll need one with things going the way they are, I would grab one, order one now. Same with your canning jars and lids. You can never have too many. So let's jump right in. I don't want to ramble too much. I'm going to show you how I do this soup really quick, okay? I'm going to turn the camera around and we'll get started. Now, I've already cut my vegetables up because I didn't want to bore you guys today. Got them in this pot with the chicken. I took the meat off the bone and throw that in there. Now, let's take a look from there. Okay, so here is my big stock pot. I have, like I said, green beans, carrots, onions, celery, a couple of sweet potatoes. I want to say it was 2 or 3 small ones just because they were getting soft. And what else do I have in there? Oh, corn, which I'll show you. I processed it. That was 14 ears, and we don't eat that much corn, so I just took it all off the cob. And I got 2 bowls. One, not quite as full as this one, which I put in here. And then this one, I'm going to freeze. I'm going to lay it out on a cookie sheet and freeze it, and then put it in a Ziploc bag for when I make soup again. These are just the scraps you can see of the sweet potato, corn, things like that are going to go to my chicken, so that'll make them happy. So that's more processing I need to do later. But there's that. There's the corn, and here's the chicken stock. I boiled the whole chicken. I drained it, strained it really well, let it sit for a while, and got as much of the fat off of it as I can. And now I'm going to pour it in here. Let's see if I can do this with one hand. I probably cannot, so let's see if I can find somewhere to sit, you guys. Just a second. Okay, so obviously I could not pick up that big stock with one hand, so Nate's going to play cameraman while I do this. So he's going to show you the soup. I've just got the burner on high. I'm going to go ahead and pour all this amazing chicken stock in there. We are going to fill it to the brim. Get it stirred up here. Now the chicken is already cooked in here, guys, but the veggies are raw. In the canning book, it tells you to bring all this to a boil for about 30 minutes, and then it's ready to go. So I've got all my jars over here. I think it may make a couple more, but I'm going to start with 5 quart, and then I think I may take some to our friend that gave us all the food because she works and didn't have time to cook. So whatever's left that doesn't go in here, I'm going to give it to her. So I'm going to let this come to, oh, I was telling you about my jars. I've already sterilized those. I've checked those for cracks, any kind of cracks along the top, in the body. I've done all that. I've got all my materials ready, my lids, rings, all that. So we're going to let this boil for 30 minutes, and I'll be back when I show you, when I have my canner on the stove and when I show you how to fill my jars. Okay, while the soup is coming to boil, I thought I'd jump over and show you how I've been doing the blackberries and raspberries. Here's the corn. I've just froze it. I'm going to freeze it in this bag. The date and how much is in each bag, and I'll just lay that flat in the freezer and freeze that for later for other soups or anything like that. Okay, so we'll jump over here. We were given, there were 12 of these Driscoll blackberries. All of them are in remarkable shape. I think I had to cull maybe 1 or 2 at the most from each one of these little 6-ounce containers. So what I did is I laid those out like you have here, and I put them in the freezer and I let them freeze individually. And then once they're froze solid, I put them, I don't know if you can see it, but I put them all in a bag like this. And this so far is almost 3 pounds of blackberries. I have a few of them in the refrigerator for us just to eat before they go bad. We'll just eat them fresh. And these will be good for smoothies or baking, anything like that. The raspberries, we got 6 of these double containers, which they are 12 ounces, which I love raspberries, and so do the boys. So these are very expensive. I don't get these very often, so I was thrilled to get these. And I did those the same way. I laid them out here. As you can see, they're frozen solid. Of course, you wash them first, pick out any bad ones, and then I froze them in here. Aren't they beautiful, that color? Hopefully you guys can see them. You know my kitchen has horrible lighting, even with my lights, but look at that. These will be good for baking, for just to take out and eat, maybe with some cream or anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and finish putting these in there, and this will put this bag up to 3.5 pounds, which I'm very thankful for. So that's how I'm processing this. I'll be back in a little bit and we'll show you how we finish up the soup and get it in the canner. Okay, so we are ready. I've already started processing, or actually putting the soup in some of my jars. I didn't want to bore you guys with all that, so I'm going to show you how I do 2 of those. A couple of things I want to let you know about is what I do. Again, make sure you sterilize your jars, especially if they're new. You want to go around the edge to check for any chips or cracks. You want to hold them up to the light, make sure there's no cracks or any kind of things that'll make them less sturdy in the pressure canner over here, because they will break. I've been canning now almost 2 years, and I've had probably 2 break on me, not soup but different things. So, and it's a bummer when that happens. So a couple of basic things you'll need to have your canning lids and your rings. Now I use ball lids. And so they now say that the ring around them are softer, so you don't have to put those in hot water and boil them like you used to, like when I was young and my mom would do it. So now you don't have to. If you use any other brand than Ball, please read the back of the box and do some research, but with Ball you do not. Okay. So also you do not want to fill your jars past the 1-inch mark. I have a tool, and I have a basic canning kit that I linked down below for you guys. You can take a look at it. It comes with a funnel and this handy dandy green thing, to where if you do boil your lids, it basically will pick them up out of the hot water for you. But and then it also has a thing where you can use to stick down in your jars and get any air bubbles out, which is important before you put the lid on, and measure your head space. Now I have done it so much I know where my head space is. And always for soup, I leave a little bit more just to give room for the vegetables giving off any water. So I'm not going to do that part today. I'm going to use one of my son's chopsticks to get the air out, because I can't find my green thing that measures the headspace, or that I use to debubble. And my son is the one that puts the dishes away, so I'm not sure where he put it last time. But let's go ahead and do this, and I'm going to show you how I fill these 2 jars and put them in the canner. My canner is hot, because you want to put these hot jars in a hot canner, since we're doing hot, just so it. Also down below, I am going to link to the Center for Food Preservation at Home. That's a really good site. It tells you a lot of information about how to keep your food safe, to avoid botulism, any kind of bacteria, foodborne illnesses, which is very important when you're canning. So check that out, especially if you're new to canning. It's probably very helpful. I know it helps me if I have any questions. So just use the funnel. Now I'm going to go through here. I'm going to make sure there's no bubbles, and this will also give you a little bit more extra room. I can add just a little bit more, so I'm going to add just a little bit more. There we go. And then you want to go ahead, and like I said, here you would measure for your headspace. I'm not going to go on in that because I know this is enough. And then these are hot, so be careful. You may want to use oven mitts, but you're just going to do it finger tight, okay? So not really tight, just finger tight, and then you're going to put them in the canner over here. Be careful. You can use this. It's probably more responsible, but sometimes I don't have the time to do that, so especially today since it's my first time ever filming my canning. So normally I don't do canning videos, so I'm not going into depth today. I don't know if you guys are interested in canning and how I can trim healthy mom and low carb food for our family, but if you are, let me know in the bottom of the comments and maybe I'll do some more. But right now this is my day. All day I'll be processing this stuff. I do have to go to town later. I did order some more jars from Walmart for a pickup because they're getting so hard to find. I need to stock up. So notice I'm very low on them. So one more scoop ought to get this where I want it to be. Maybe even have to take out. Oh, one thing I forgot to show you, and I think I've done it on the rest, but I'll show you on this one. I may take that one out after I turn the camera off and fix it, but all the bubbles out. We're going to make sure 1 inch headspace. I'm going to take just a little bit of that out. Okay. So this is just a bowl of vinegar. You can get a paper towel, use the vinegar, and go around the edges. I have very clean hands. I like to use the vinegar, and sometimes I'll go around just one more time to feel for cracks or any kind of chips or anything. So let me get one other thing here. Anyway, so lay my paper towel down somewhere. So I'm going to go ahead and put the lid on. I'm going to put the ring on, finger tight. Oh, it's hot. Finger tight, and I'm going to put it in here. I have more soup in here, but if you remember, I don't have any more of my quart jars right now, so I'm just going to go ahead and keep on cooking this till it's fully cooked, and I'm going to put it in a single serve container so we can take this to our friend that gives us all these goodies. That's kind of, I'm going to do that and then make her some pumpkin bread because she likes that. So I'm just going to put the lid over here. Nathan, you want to show them what they look like in the canner? It's very hot, so the next thing we're going to do is put the lid on it. Then I'm going to let steam come for, I'll show you how to put the lid on. Make sure it's on my big burner. It is. A lot of steam will start coming out here. I don't know the proper name for it, and you can see I've used my canner a ton, but a lot of steam will come out. Once it gets this spewing out a lot of steam and it gets loud and you'll hear it, I'm going to go ahead and let that steam for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, I am going to put the weight on it and let it pull up to 10 pounds, which is my canning pressure that I need at my altitude. Yours will be different probably, so check your resources to find out what pressure you need to can everything in there. These are quarts. Anything with meat, I can 90 minutes. The ball book that I showed you guys that I got kind of this idea for the recipe says 90 minutes for quarts. So once it steams, I'll build 10 pounds of pressure. Then I'll pressure can this for, once it builds the steam, and I'll pressure can it once it gets to 10 for 90 minutes. And then I'll let it cool down and get them out, and I'll show you what they look like. I'm going to get off here for now, and I'll come back in a little bit and show you where we're at. Okay guys, so the soup is ready. It's already, I let the canner, I let go for 90 minutes, 10 pressure, you know, not falling below 10 pressure. 90 minutes, it's done. Then I let it turn the fire off, let it cool off, did the whole step by step, and now it is ready. I just took it out of the canner, put it on the counter. It's got to stay just like it is for about 24 hours. It's still extremely hot. But I wanted to give you guys a shot of that. But I want to tell you two things before I go. Earlier, when I cleaned the top of the jar with my finger with the vinegar, I don't recommend doing that. Use a clean paper towel to do that, which I normally do. Also, you may have noticed, on a glass top stove. Now, many people say do not can on a glass top stove because there is chance of breakage. This stove, back about a year ago before we bought it, I contacted the manufacturer and asked them specifically if I could use a canner. They said yes. They gave me very specific directions on how to do it, which burner to use on this, and only that burner. But you're still taking a chance. So do your research on your stove. Be cautious. Do it at your own risk, basically, because canners can be very heavy. I definitely don't recommend doing the double stacked 23 quart canners, but study, you know, learn about your stove and can at your own risk if you use glass top. So I'll trust you to do what's best for you. It works for me. I've had it, like I said, over a year now, year and a half, and I hadn't had any problems, but I just use this one burner. It's bigger than the canner bottom itself, so it only heats up right there. So that's just my warning. 2 little things, okay? Well, thanks so much for coming with me today, guys, on this adventure. I'm going to show you these really quick on the way out, and I'll see you next time in my kitchen here at my table of 3. Let me turn you around real quick. Alright, so there it is. I'll leave these rings on there until this completely cools tomorrow, 24 hours. Then I'll date on the top what it is, and I'll store it without these rings. So, and there's a shot at the pumpkin bread, which is non-term healthy mama, no keto, low carb. It's amazing, but I do this. I'm going to put this in the freezer and give that to our friend that brought us all the extra food. So, there you go, guys. See you next time.